a Malzahar to match this Yasuo.
So it is Ezreal Lux bot lane, it seems like. Or might be... Is it actually Malzahar? No, there's not. No.
No,
No.
I take it they'll swap it. They won't play Malzahar support. Yeah, obviously
Okay,
Ezreal and Lux.
thank you.
Ezreal and Lux obviously a very straightforward combo. They both just want to, they want to keep waves pushing, poke this, excuse me, Brainstorm Unleash bot lane just out of lane because obviously,
But see,
you can't really outscale a Senna given the souls and the Kench farming in lane to get her. And if I can request our observer turns off the time controls quickly, and we can, there we go, that should be fine.
Thank you, Hikes. Production has a name.
Okay. He does indeed. It is a human. It's not actually me just talking to a robot. And I mean, yeah, it's just going to be a 5-point from both teams.
I can see the space age here coming down onto Yasuo. I hope that's not
little
TOS.
a little bit rude. Maybe not very. I don't know the word off the top of my head. Gragas though is going to come down. I don't know. They're not going to look for anything. Yeah, both teams
Nah.
just going to go for a 5-point. Going to walk straight into lane and just get down to doing whatever they're doing. Now you can see that Lee Sin and Viego both starting topside. And this is something that I've seen pretty much everywhere very recently, is that junglers are starting topside almost every game.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah, and I
with
think
some...
so. I think it seems like they're gonna pat down maybe towards some bot lane skirmishes early game.
Yeah. I mean, obviously this Ezreal and Lux definitely going to be... Their strength would be in, keeping waves pushed, keeping, like, trying to poke the Kench and Senna out of lane. But once this Kench and Senna get going, once they do start scaling, it really is just such a difficult combo to stop.
Yeah, but I do think it's really hard though to push out the Tom Kench of lane. Like as soon as he hit level 3, he just have so much survivability with the Senna heals. So
Yeah.
sure, they will struggle a couple of levels now, but as soon as the level starts ticking in, they just get more and more sustained. And as you can see here, February the 14th already going for some trades here. Getting some souls for himself, getting some damage.
I mean, on top of this as well, you can see, obviously, as we do see some trades in the top lane, the first strike is going to come in for Luke Caruana. Definitely not something I've seen a lot of on Gragas. I know the one that people would usually go for is the Phase Rush. Also, sometimes Dark Harvest as well. But,
I do think he would go first strike here because he knows he can
yeah.
poke
Yeah,
a
I
lot.
definitely think it definitely feels pretty good here anyway. But regardless, obviously, Cargilly did go for a Tear of the Goddess start, which I've mentioned this a couple of times, but I'm really not a fan of it. Especially into a lane like this where you have to punish it early. You're really, you're missing out on the 10 AD. It's less Q damage, less auto damage.
I think I see where he's coming from though, because he probably just wants to play safe and try and scale up a bit as well, until he gets like some of his first items.
Yeah, I mean,
oh, here
as we do see an engage here from Biden, and the Ezreal using the, I can't remember what the name of it is, but using the TP into the Kench W, and the Lee Sin Q does land, and that is going to be first blood for Fanxi on this Lee Sin.
And how much quicker he cleared than Chosu. He went blue buff into Grom, and then directly to red and ran straight bot lane.
Yeah, 3 camps into bot. Meanwhile, Viego still trying to get through his bot side after he did opt into a full clear, which I mean, I don't know if you really want to be taking Krugs, especially when you have a bot lane that is really dangerous if they do get ahead, as Lee Sin does come in to help his friend out just a little bit. Is going to pass towards this top side, as Mordekaiser did get his back off. And I can't actually look at how much CS either team has because the League client is not working.
Visual bugs.
Very, very unfortunate. But we'll continue on anyway. It's going to be a little bit more difficult to obviously tell who is, who's ahead, who's not. And that's... okay, so we can fix it. We can fix it. Okay. Thank you.
A trader from the absolute unit spot and getting some chunk down on February the 14th has to burn one of his pots here. But he also has biscuit delivery, so I assume he doesn't really mind. Meanwhile,
yeah, I was going to bring this up actually. I think if you have the biscuit delivery on Ezreal, the tier start is really not necessary. And when your tier, if you start it, is going to be fully stacked far before you get the mana immune anyway.
Yeah.
So it does feel a bit, like I feel like into this lane, I think D-Blade would probably be fine. I mean, you could also make an argument for Longsword, but both bot lanes obviously just trading back and forth. Tahm Kench will get chunked by that Lux Q into Ezreal W and Q as well. Arcane Shift, by the way, for future, because I did forget the name of that ability mid-fight. Malzahar obviously can be very impressive with his poke early game with his wave clear. Definitely a little bit difficult for this Yasuo to deal with, but Sazum on the Yasuo definitely seems to be dealing with it just fine. As I mean, I imagined out of draft that we wouldn't see too much fighting early, but I might be eating my words. And God, that first strike damage as well on top of everything. But the Viego is going to come in to help, and Luke Caruana on this Gragas could be in some trouble here.
Yeah,
I can't, if we can see anything that's happening up there.
Getting stuck. The reason the camera pans is because there's no fighting. But here you can see Brian going for a really aggressive trade onto Judging Rocks here.
Lux going to get cut out.
Ooh,
the flash
Lux
comes in from
flash.
both players. Lux is going to fall to this Tahm Kench. Lee Sin comes in to clean up, and we have another 2 deaths.
See,
in
this
the
is
bot
really
lane
good.
of absolute
This is
units.
exactly how I wanted Fanxi to play this game. Gank bot lane, get them ahead on a scaling pick so that they start to snowball earlier. Meanwhile, Ezreal, who's also trying to scale, gets put further and further behind.
Yeah, I mean, Ezreal obviously, I would probably his early game is a little bit stronger than Senna, but when Ezreal really gets strong is in that mid game. You know, he gets his 2 items, he gets his Essence Reaver into Manamune, or you know, if he's building a Sheen Mythic, which I'm not really a fan of the Sheen Mythics on Ezreal. I think Lethality's a lot better personally, but I mean, once he gets those 2 items, he gets his Sheen item, he gets his Manamune, and we are going to see an ult coming out from the Mordekaiser, taken into the Death Realm. Obviously, Gragas. A lot of displacement, very easy to get him away, and nothing going to come from that. But that is both ults wasted in top lane. Obviously, Gragas does struggle a little bit more with the sustain in top lane. With he uses mana, and he is quite Gragas is quite a mana hungry champion, even with that tier so early. And obviously, Mordekaiser doesn't have mana, has built-in healing into his kit, which obviously. That's a huge point of the champion, but he will start falling off a little bit later on in the game, especially once the Senna starts to get more range, as the Nethergrass does come out onto this Yasuo, along with the Viego coming into the mid lane, and Yasuo is going to get out of that alive. I think the Nethergrass coming in a little bit too early before the Viego could really get any of his damage off, as well as the fact that Viego not quite level 6 yet, not unlocking that Heartbreaker, which is really when I feel like Viego gets quite strong because he's getting the resets. But I'm going to have to stop talking about this for a moment, as Kenji is going to go for a counter engage, but just going to walk away and shake it off like nothing happened. As could be seeing an all-in here from Sazum onto this Malzahar, does hit the tornado, and the ult is going to come out. And I think we can say goodbye to Blaze,
no ignite here from Sazum.
But the burn may be enough on its own. No, okay. Very, very close to both.
That was really closer. I think if Sazum ignites that, he kills, for sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yasuo has really strong all-ins. That's like how you play every Yasuo lane, is you wait for the opponent to sort of like use their things, and then you try and go face first. You want to be up close and personal. And Malzahar is a champion that really struggles to fight someone who wants to be up close and personal if it doesn't have his ulti as sort of like the disengage or engage to stop them. So as soon as they're in your face, you're just going to be steamrolled.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you're fighting, Yasuo fighting inside a minion wave, like 5 or 6 minions big, it can be quite, you don't realize how much damage the minions are doing until it's too late, and I'm going to have to stop talking about this, as Kench does miss this Abyssal Dive, but the Lee Sin Q is going to land. They are going to go into the tower, and that's an incredible insect from Fangxi, along with the Devourer, to keep him alive. And Devourer, off the top of my head, is actually Cho'Gath ult, if you excuse me, not Tahm Kench ult.
It doesn't matter, this is
a very incredible insect from Fangxi, really, really well played.
And he's been ganking bot so well now.
Yeah.
And then we also have Dotcast engages is doing a lot here, while we see the top laners again try and duke it out.
Another death round coming in from the Mordekaiser, but I don't know, he didn't actually use ult there. I thought he did. I can never tell with the effects of that skin. It's so weird to look at. But obviously, one of I think a big strength that you can consider of this Brainstorm release team, as the ult is going to come out the second time of asking, but I don't think anything's going to cover it. But the flash Q coming out from the Mordekaiser for the solo kill onto Luke Caruana.
That's a really good engage there by Kill the Vanilla here. Greg is thinking he might be safe, but Kill the Vanilla says, no, I'm gonna flash.
Yeah.
And you can also see Herald use top lane here, so that's gonna bring back the gold a bit more. Like, the deficit right now is around 3k.
It's 2k, I believe.
Yeah, 2k, sorry. Can't read.
We are going to see a Yasuo here. The Miss just getting him out fairly easily. Lee Sin might get caught out here. Warthops over the wall to safety. But as I was saying before this is gonna that death is going to contradict my point a little bit. But I was gonna say one of the big strengths I find, at least with Brainstorm Unleashed, is obviously Luke Caruana is very, very good player. It's very easy to put him on the top side of the map. And obviously in this case it's Fanxi, but having the jungle prioritize his bot lane, prioritize this Kench Senna to get ahead, it really is, like, you know, if you play League, you know what Kench Senna is like. Once it gets going, it's just so strong, it's so difficult to deal with. There's just too much damage, too much range. Even if you do get on top of the Senna, it's still very, very difficult to deal with because of the Tom Kench ult on top of everything, which obviously is one of the best peeling tools in the game. We are going to see another gang from Fantasy into bot lane. This one, however,
the bot gangs here. It's like they're setting up a tent right now.
Yeah.
Man has a 4-star hotel set up in the river.
I mean, that's how you want to do it, realistically. With this, you know, with the Kench Senna bot lane. Obviously, Lee Sin, definitely not as much damage or anything late game. He still does have a lot of utility. I don't really think Lee Sin falls off hard late as much as everyone claims he does, because obviously, you know, I don't know the kick. I don't know the full name off the top of my head, but obviously just so much utility. It's really such an insane ability to have, especially when you're able to use it in the ways that Fanxi has shown already in this game. But we are going to have a little bit of downtime. The Cloud Drake is up, and I think it's just going to be taken for...
Oh, it seems
no,
like
we are going to see it going to play, and Diego is going to get the reset. Going to take the Drake for himself. And on top of this, Malzahar is going to fall. The Senna bot coming up, and Yasuo ulting onto that Mordekaiser, but he is also going to fall. And it is an absolute disaster for Brainstorm Unleashed. They're still running into this. The Gragas still coming in, takes out the Viego, and the Lux is, or the Ezreal, excuse me, is also going to fall. I think Yasuo will just about get away.
Yeah, he will. Oh, but you see the re-engage comes.
Kench going to re-engage, slows down the Mordekaiser. And I don't think anything else will come from this fight. Obviously, still, Gragas still going in. A lot of CC. Another TP in. And this fight is going to continue on as Gragas picks up another kill onto the Lux.
Is it enough?
Senna, okay. 1 HP. Another kill for Luke Caruana. Absolutely.
Luke Caruana, holy moly. Did you see the TP or the engager from Luke Caruana in after the fight started? It was absolutely insane.
And that's going to be
another one
kill for Luke Caruana.
Please, after this is why you don't give Luke Caruana Gragas.
That is a 5-1 Gragas, an AP Gragas nonetheless, along with a lot of Senna. Unfortunately, did not get any kills from that fight, but I think she did pick up a total of 5 assists. I think that was.
Yeah, something like that. Really well played.
Disaster for absolute units, as you can see Luke Caruana dropping the pentakill in the all chat.
The fight started really well for absolute units. They got Fanxi, they got the Drake. They were trying to kill the rest of the members of Brainstorm Unleashed, but it's too late because Luke Caruana was already there. He gets down 2 members of absolute units, and the fight just keeps spiraling. Like, they're chasing absolute units instead of cutting their losses and running away. They keep trying to force the fight, which is really bad.
Yeah, I mean, like at this point, we said at the start of the game, like obviously definitely heavy outscaling here with the Yasuo and the Senna, just, you know, the very strong late game champions typically, along with the fact that they're, I can't actually tell because of quality, but they are a lot of gold ahead already, and it's only 30 minutes into the game, into a, you know, like we could see this in draft, but
4k gold ahead roughly now.
Yeah, I mean, you can never really count out these kind of champions like Viego. Obviously Viego very strong if he gets the resets, and Luxel is going to come out, but I think she's not going to fall actually. One thing I only noticed now is that Tom Kench, in fact, opting for the Grasp. In this thing, we usually see the Guardian, and the Senna ult, the Dawning Shadows, going to finish off Judgy Rocks. And another trade into the top lane. This Gragas just doing so much damage.
Oh, and it's Night Harvester Gragas. You know this will hurt. Ooh, sadly Amazon delivered that.
And he is going to
never mind. Holy shit!
The tower. And that is another kill for Luke Caruana, absolutely smurfing out of his mind.
What the fuck, man? This guy is on something else today. Holy.
Obviously, it did look quite rough for him earlier on in the game with the, the Mordecai spell into the flash Q. Obviously, a solo kill for the kill of Vanilla, excuse me. Now
Yeah,
he's
and
just now 8 minutes later, and he's 6-1 with a CS lead.
I'm
Got his top lane tower to
6K
half
gold lead
HP.
right now. The goal it just keeps extending here, and it's like we're talking. BSU got the early snowball to start rolling, and they just keep rolling and rolling ever since. They're not letting AU get anything here. They're just controlling every aspect of the map. Unless for
Yeah,
division. As you can see, most of the vision on the map right now is red. Ooh,
the Nether Grasp is going to come in along with the Lux ult. Yasuo is going to hit that knockup. Fanxi comes in to help. Malzahar is going to fall to the ignite, but so will
he
Yasuo
dives to the
up to
lead
follow.
queue.
Viego going to continue diving. Fanxi is going to get out from this, I don't think, and that's a double kill for this Viego, and potentially a triple if the Gragas does not stay safe here.
Oh, the bot lane's here though.
He is going to get caught out though. The Kench just landing straight on top of the Heartbreaker, but nothing going to come from this, I think. The Ignite also going down onto the Viego, but he's not going to fall. Going to be a 2-for-1 for the side of Absolute Units, which I mean, with the shutdowns obviously, it can be worth it. I don't think any of those players actually had a shutdown, but this fight maybe not over quite yet.
You can see already all the damage that Gragas has is insane. Half HP on the Ezreal right there, with one ultimate.
And something I would like to point out actually, I have seen, typical either bruisers or assassins building tank at the minute. Obviously, the one that is most common is the Diana, and obviously the some of our Aegis Yi also. I have never seen a tank mythic Viego, and obviously him starting the Blammy Cinder. Another Drake here though for Absolute Units. I mean, if I don't know. It looks very difficult to come back into. Obviously, this Drake is going to be very free for them, and it is an objective bounty, 500 gold for that team split. But they are going to lose their top lane tier 1 tower in response, along with a Rift Herald, which I mean.
Maybe we see they're walking up towards the Herald here.
And I am going to have to cut you off here, as I think the Malzahar does have this Nether Grasp up. Kench has to flash out. The Dawning Shadow is coming in to help his team out just a little bit. They are going to try and contest this Herald, but it is taken, and they are going to walk away and cut their losses. And I mean, it's just another advantage really for the side of Brainstorm Unleashed. Definitely just so difficult to come back against, especially with how much scaling they do have. But I think
you can see also how BSU played that with the Drake. They're like saying, okay, they're not on the map, they're probably doing Drake. Okay, we get top turret, we get Herald.
Yeah, it's just this immediate reaction. Yeah, it's just this immediate reaction, straight onto the other side of the map. Obviously, the soul is going to be the Hextech soul, I think. The quality isn't great for me. It is a Hextech soul, okay. So, I mean, obviously, you have a very, very strong soul, but when your team is this far ahead, and you do outscale, you don't necessarily have to be on every single one, and Senna may be getting caught out. I could have seen an angle for a Malzahar, but with the Lee Sin there as well, obviously not easy. I think just about every ult in this game is up, except that Senna's Dawning Shadows.
And I do like the way BSU is playing this game, because they're trying to sure, they're not taking every Drake, they're not doing anything of that, but they keep choking them out. So what they're doing is they keep inching forward bit by bit and trying to not give anything to AU, but also playing very safe.
Yeah, and I mean, I had pointed this out earlier.
Yeah.
Go on. Yeah.
And instead of fighting 3v5, 3v4 for the Drake, they're like, okay, we're down a man, we're stronger, but we're not gonna risk it because we might lose. Viego might get resets.
Yeah. If we know they're on Herald, we can take top tier 1. We can take the Herald, as we are going to see Mordekaiser just about missing, or just about getting away from that. Excuse me. A little bit of damage going down from both teams. Some ults used, some important cooldowns used. The Mordekaiser flash obviously being the big one, but that flash or definitely being a good way to get rid of this Senna. And wow, even when she's ahead, she is just so squishy to some of this poke. And I think I want to point out actually that in the draft I was thinking about how much AP the side of Absolute Units actually have here in obviously an MR second meta, and we can see as a result of this the Force of Nature second for this Tom Kench, who, if you play mages or if you play AP assassins, you'll know what I mean. It is disgusting. It is so difficult to deal with. it's that the item is just so good after it was so bad for so long. Lux maybe getting caught out by Luke Caruana. I don't think they're going to go for anything here, but the flash shield coming out from Malzahar, and Gragas is going to fall here. Diego going to get his reset, and Yasuo gets pulled in too. The ult comes out from the... not from the Mordekaiser, excuse me. Yasuo coming in too. The Mordekaiser is going to fall. Ezreal just about getting out with the flash over the wall. The ult coming out too, and they may continue going here. Absolute Units definitely finding their way back into these fights. And Lee Sin and Senna is going to this 2v2 combo. It's just so strong. There's so much damage. They're so far ahead. Fancy just missing out on that Q. Looking for a re-engage though. And I think they are just going to... yeah, they're going to continue going. Obviously, the two of them on their own, definitely a lot stronger than the three of Malzahar, Ezreal, and Lux, just because of how far ahead they actually are going to... No, did they get... No, they didn't get the blue buff, actually. I don't know who got that. Was it Lux?
I think Lux, maybe. I
Lux,
did not see.
yeah,
It's
I
a bit
think Lux did
pixelated
grab
sometimes.
it. Yeah.
Maybe watch the stream. Malzahar got it.
Yeah. Okay. Obviously, you know, there's a lot of mages, a lot of mana-hungry champions on the side of Absolute Units. Obviously, all three of their buff side champions very reliant on mana. But we are going to go back to some downtime. The Baron, however, is up, and the Drake is spawning in about 30 seconds. And I mean, I don't think you want to be able to give this much up if you are, you know, Brainstorm Unleashed. Obviously, they are very far ahead, but when Soul Point is, you know, when it gets quite worrying, because if you do let them get to Soul Point, all it takes is one mistake for that soul to come in, and then all of a sudden the game is even, you know?
Yeah, for sure. But what we also need to look at now is the gold difference here. It's still around 6k for Brainstorm Unleashed, roughly. And most of the gold for Absolute Units is on the Viego, who's built, not Frozen Mallet, Frostfire Gauntlets.
Frostfire Gauntlet, yeah. And I never have these mistakes because I didn't actually play before the item rework, so I have never seen an old iteration of an item before. But except for the... obviously the Sanduin Blade coming for Hovercraft, and the Ezreal almost taking away the Drake, but it is going to be 2 Drakes for 2 for both sides. And I think, like I was saying earlier, if you do let them get the Soul Point, all it takes is one mistake, and, you know, all of a sudden you're playing against Mountain Soul, the game's even, and you've thrown your lead.
See, around the Drake as well there, the Viego was in Narnia, the guy was not with his team. So you saying don't fight for the Drake, go for Ezreal Seal instead. Which is what they try.
Lee Sin Q is going to come in, but definitely taking a lot of damage on his way out, is going to have to kick that Mordekaiser away from him. And both teams just really throwing... Yeah, just throwing all the utility at each other. Not really... Both teams kind of looking for an engage, but with the low range engage that both teams have, excluding the Tom Kench, it can be quite difficult. Obviously, this Tom Kench, once he does finish that Force of Nature, he's just going to be so tanky. And it really just so difficult to deal with. Ezreal, in the end, Cargilly did opt for the Divine Sunder, which, I mean, into this comp, personally I would have gone Eclipse. But like I said, I mean, Sunder Triforce is the, you know, the default, so pretty much everyone builds. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a fan of it, but I can see the shout for it, at least in this game. Along with Lux going for the CDR boots, which, I mean, I don't know, like, obviously, Magic Pen Boot's not really going to help much. I mean, there's no one is building MR, apart from the Kench. So, I mean, I could definitely see it, but, I mean, I don't know, it's... They probably know more than me at some point, you know? But Mordekaiser is going to get caught out here. I can't tell who it is. The Viego coming in to help him has to flash away. Fanxy's still following him in, but is going to get sick. The flash E comes in from Nick Caruana again, along with the ult. That kill will be picked up by the Gragas, but Caruana being sacrificed for that one. Lux also getting caught out in her own jungle for absolutely no reason. Really just no need to walk up at this point in the game. You know, you've lost your tier 1 mid, you've lost your tier 1 top. Both tier 1 top and mid are up for the enemy team. You don't own that part of the jungle anymore, you know? It really just feels like such an unnecessary death. And Brainstorm Unleashed going to start this Baron, and really just no answer available from Absolute Units. There's nothing they can do. The Viego not up for another 7 seconds. Obviously, he won't be able to get there in time. They're just going to give it to them. They're going to try and collect some waves as we're collecting the wave in top lane. And all of a sudden, it's gone from bad to worse for Absolute Units, as they walk away with a 9k gold lead and a Baron buff. Oh, the tier 1 mid is still up actually. Sorry, that is my mistake.
Yeah, they're not broken
Okay.
just yet. AU's been clinging onto that turret for dear life.
Yeah. Okay. I thought I had seen it broken, but it's a small mistake. Haga really looks so funny with the frozen heart size. He's so tall. But
Yes, yes,
it's
indeed.
definitely a weird build. I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, I guess I can see a shout for it, but it's definitely a weird one.
Ooh,
And the
Lux.
Luxor is going to come in, not quite enough to take down Feb on the Senna and just immediately burst it down. Like I said earlier, the Lee Sin with this, he's gone for the Eclipse, which has the lethality and the armor plant passive, straight into Black Cleaver. So basically making most of the armor on the side of Absolute Units, just non-existent more or less. You're going to see some more trades into the bot lane. The Q does land on Zia, and he is going to follow it. The Nethergrass coming in, QSS's it out. And the Gragas ult is going to save him. I think Brainstorm Unleashed though, that is definitely not worth losing both your towers mid for that small trade though.
No, for sure not. The gold lead keeps extending. It's 10k gold lead now.
Yeah, I just don't see a way back into this game for Absolute Units. It really just is so difficult.
Oh, they're lacking damage here. You can see the full combo from Lux did not even kill the Senna.
Yeah. I mean, Senna obviously being traditionally one of the most squishy champs in the game, definitely really difficult to deal with as the top tier 2 turret falls. And there's just more gold onto this Yasuo. You know, he's getting towards the third, he's getting towards that DD, which I mean, I probably would have gone Wit's End myself. I mean,
Yeah, and it's on a 12k gold lead right now. It's actually insane.
my goodness, it really 11 kills, 10k gold lead. The Baron buff, I think, yeah, it is still up. Drake is coming up in about 20 seconds. And it's just, you've lost too much of the map. You've no pressure anywhere on the map. All of your tier 1s and 2s are gone on your side lanes and your mid lane. The Drake is up. It's just going to be 3, 4 Brainstorm Unleash. And all of a sudden, they are on Soul Point. And they Absolute Units really do need a game, need something really, really fast. You know, they need a good fight. They need a good fight into a Baron once that's back up. You know, something. It's just so difficult for them to do anything, especially when Brainstorm Unleash are spreading this gold lead around the map so effectively.
Yeah, I think the trick here for absolute units would be to just full send on
I'm
one
gonna have
member.
to cut you off as we see another flash insect from Fancy, and the Daring Shadow's coming in to finish off that Lux, and it's just another 1-for-0 trade. And Fancy really, obviously, you know, Luke Caruana was the one for most of this game that has kept popping up in the kill feed, but Fancy really putting on a clinic on this Lee Sin. And there is no wave. The wave is coming up now. Baron buff is over, so I don't think they have a chance to end. Obviously, getting all the utility thrown at them, but the Gragasol is going to come in into a Yasuo. Diego is going to fall, and we are into a 5v3 under tower. Mordekaiser, Deathron comes out. He is going to win the 1v1 against Yasuo and is going to flash away, making that fight a lot easier, potentially saving them from an end, but I don't think there's anything that can save them from the game altogether. They're just so far behind, it's so difficult to do anything. Fancy really just making everyone's life so difficult on this Lee Sin.
Lee Sin's been clean this game for sure.
Extremely well played from Fancy.
But also from Kosatka. Kosatka's been really solid this game as well in the follow-up engages on the Tom Kench. He does not care. He sees Fancy go in, he just follows.
I mean, everyone in this game has been really, really good. Obviously, we saw the Senna is just, you know, Feb on the Senna is so much DPS, so much damage, so far away, really just can't get close to him, especially with how good his spacing is. And every time I see this Viego gliding bug, it gets funnier to me. But anyway, we continue, and Malzahar has picked up that second item, which will be the Rylai's Crystal Scepter. Obviously, very good against melee champs, makes it really difficult to do anything. Oh my god, the Senna Eclipse damage. And the Malzahar is going to fall, gets out the Nethergrass, but it's not going to be enough. It is going to be enough, excuse me, take out the Senna, and that is a 1-for-1. But it is a 400 gold bounty onto the Senna, which, I mean, the gold does go to Malzahar, who's, you know, he's not the Viego necessarily, but it definitely is not one of the ones worse than having another flash E from Gragas. These belly slams just so effective from this game. Looks just about going to fall, I think, at the end. She will. But they are going to counter-engage here. Viego coming in.
Oh
Sorry,
wow,
excuse me.
he actually gets out. The Gragas gets out. He took the Hex Gate and survives, but the fighting still keeps going on here. You can see Lee Sin now.
Is going to commit, and the Kench as well, going to commit the W into this fight. And I think we might be seeing Brainstorm Leech looking for an end off of this wave. God, the Kench, even on his own, just doing so much damage. And they are going to take this bot tower and inhibitor, and that will be the second one that they have taken. Obviously, they are just going to tank the tower. It is going to be defended, actually. I thought they might just give it up, but really just so difficult to play for anything, even their own objectives in their own base. They can't commit to any fights. They might look for something on this Kench. The Nether Grasp is up for Malzahar. But the Yasuo does get pulled back, and he could be in some serious trouble here with the slow from Malzahar. Nether Grasp comes in, and he is going to fall. And I mean, it's just picks like that that are really going to make it so difficult. Body Slam coming in from Luke Caruana, but this Yasuo, who is actually a Viego, excuse me. Body Slam comes in again from over the wall. So much TDR on this Gragas. But he is going to continue surviving here. The Lux as well going to fall, and it's all left down to Fanxi on this Lee Sin now. He is going to take down one. Will he be able to finish off the Malzahar too? He won't. That is a lot of gold from that fight onto this Malzahar now. The Fed is going to come in. He is going to be able to finish off the Malzahar from so far away, just all the way from 3 screens away. They are going to clear up the spot wave. And all that's left to defend for Absolute Eunice is the Ezreal and base. Cargilly definitely doesn't look very good for him at the minute. Both mid and bot pushing in. So obviously not a lot of wave down the Ezreal until he does get the Tiamat, which I mean he's not gonna I doubt he will even opt in for this game. There's just too much that he has to get.
Yeah.
Has to turn around to clear this mid wave, but however Viego is up. The Senate W does land onto him and the tower will fall. But I mean, the Drake is up. The Drake is up in 20 seconds. The Baron is up. I mean, I think it just takes one more push, obviously.
Yeah, I don't even think they need Baron. They're so strong that if they fight together, look at the Gragas. Absolutely huge here. Void Staff has started as well.
Yeah, I mean, just so much burst damage, so much one-shot potential.
There's no MR on the side of AU here. They've absolutely 0 MR in any items.
Yeah. I mean, it is difficult to build MR, though, when the Senna, the Lee Sin, the Yasuo are just so strong, and that is going to be the Hextech Soul and they are going to TP straight up towards this topside jungle. Gragas may be looking for a pick onto the Lux, but she is going to just about get away. And I think it's just going to be one big push. They are going to look for the end. Obviously, 27 kills, 13, an extremely dominant performance.
12k gold lead as well now for BSU.
Yeah. They are going to do the Baron, actually. They're not just going to go straight for the end, obviously. I mean, even if Absolute Units even try to contest this, the minions will literally just run their base over. They're so far behind. But the Viego is going to get caught out straight out of this Hex Gate. Going to take the one throw of the Yasuo. Mordekaiser is coming into help. The Yasuo is coming out onto this Lux, who will get flash cubed, and she will fall. Death Realm coming out from Mordekaiser. I don't think... it wasn't a Death Realm, actually. Oh, no, or was it? I can't quite tell. It's so hard with these graphics. It was the Death Realm. Okay.
Yep.
I think the Yasuo also... Okay, the Yasuo also opting in for the QSS. Did QSS out of it. His team helped him win that fight as well. And the Mordekaiser will fall. And it is all down to Cargilly. And basically, it's on this Malzahar and Ezreal. Obviously, you know, not the most wave clear. And it is just going to be an end for Absolute Units. Obviously, an extremely dominant performance. Really just nothing they've been able to do. But the Nethergross is going to come out to take down Luke Caruana for one last time. And they're really just, from start to finish, especially the jungle and bot lane combo, just too strong to deal with.
GG.
Such an amazing performance from not from Absolute Units, excuse me, from Brainstorm Unleashed. Just dominant the whole way through, really just no way back.